Hi, this is Tabletop Templar, and welcome back to another Spotlight series where I'm going to show you a game from my collection and talk about the game and give you my opinion on it. So today we're going to look at SPI's War of the Ring from 1977. Now, this is a classic game that I always enjoyed, and even though there is a remake of this game, I still like the classic version. And I love the artwork from the film that came out in the '70s as well. I actually did enjoy this film. It actually is based on the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers, and then they came out with the another film that had the Return of the King. So for a long time, for the '70s until 2001, this film, these films were the definitive Lord of the Rings in film. So until Peter Jackson, this was Lord of the Rings. There was also a Hobbit film that they made before that. I do enjoy that one as well. I think the perception of these is that it was really a kids movie, and while it is technically they were kids movies, at least this one was. But this one was a little bit more mature than your typical animated film, even especially for its time. I enjoyed it. If you can watch this one, if you're a big Lord of the Rings fan, you want to see something a little bit different, check this out. I think it covers a little covers a little bit that the Peter Jackson films didn't, but Peter Jackson actually did say that he based a lot of the structure of the New Line Cinema films on this, and he even copied some of the shots. So definitely check out this film. But anyway, this isn't a film review. This is a review of this board game. I enjoy it. This is an older one, a little bit pricey to find. I got this through someone, and I didn't have to pay a lot for this. I got this through kind of a special deal, but I've seen the prices on eBay. This is really kind of a pricey game. But I'm going to talk about it and show you the board, show you the pieces, and give you some of my opinion on whether it's worth it to pick up. So looking at the rule book here, it's fairly thick rule book. There's a few other pages that the previous owner kind of tore out, and including the cover. So and it's because they get to the chart. So unfortunately, it's what people did. Instead of photocopying this, they just ripped it out of the rule book. So, yeah, what can you do? But it's a really interesting game. It shows you all the different cards. It's that classic, uh, you know, chips, and it's that classic kind of CTR style. And you can see all the different kinds of units. Elves, dwarves, men. There's infantry, cavalry. There's even light cavalry, and orcs. And coming up here, there are trolls even who are more powerful, and the Mumeks and Haradrim. You know, and of course all the different like capitals. So if you really want that classic, CTR style game, but want it fantasy and especially Lord of the Rings, this is the game. The map is huge, and I'll show you it in a minute. But I just wanted to kind of go through. There's a lot of these cards. Not really doing this justice, but just wanted to show you this. As you can see, you got kind of Gandalf. They have character cards. They can fight. There's individual combat. And then there's the counters where they can also participate in as basically generals in the battlefield. So I'm going to open this up. And there's the cards. I'm going to show you these. The Chief of the Dunland, Saruman, Gollum. And turn these around. And there's different event cards. Saruman resurrects orcs, ends event rage. Wormtongue, Orcs Feud, Tom Bombadil. There's different things that can happen. And there's different cards that the people they can get. Shadowfax and Ethelas and Galadriel's Light, Elven Rope, Cloak, Mithril, Lambus, Andril, Glandring. It really does do a good job of covering the books, and of course there's these creatures that they can encounter. The Balrog, a giant troll, Shelob, a Barrow White, and then the characters, the Fellowship. Then you have allied characters. These are, you kind of have a little picture on the back. Theodred, Theoden, Prince Imrahil. Wasn't in the films, but he was an important character. Brand. And some more. Yeah, these are just kind of, these are search cards. So basically the Mordor player, and then there's the bad guys, Witch King. So the Mordor player is trying to find the Fellowship, trying to find the ring. And here's the tokens. This is the Mordor's faction. So you can see this goes Barad-dûr, Minas Morgul, so Nazgul, then there's some Mordor Uruk-hai. Then of course you got your orcs. Rohan, infantry, and some cavalry. Rohan infantry. These are the Easterlings. So you've got men and mummics and men, cavalry. So it's a lot of Easterlings. This is Gondor, Dol Amroth, Anfalas, or Anfalas. This is Gondor, Belfalas. These are the Gondorians. Not a ton of them. There are way more. These are the elves. And then of course it shows on the back what each hex has a designation, so it'll tell you exactly where it's supposed to go. So that's actually kind of cool. That's nice. Not all games do that. These are kind of the Western allies, and then these are the Fellowship. Here, some Rangers. You can see Rangers. So the bad guys outnumber greatly the Free Peoples. This is this is Saruman's faction. Yeah, these are orcs, Uruk-hai. This is Saruman, and these the gray faction are the Dunlendings. So as you can see, it covers all of Middle Earth, and it's a very, very large board. It covers Gondor, Rohan. You have the Shire all the way up here, the Shire, and you have Mordor. I'll pan down in a second, but you can see the Misty Mountains, Helm's Deep, Edoras, Dol Amroth is right here. It covers a huge chunk of the board of Middle Earth. Pretty much, it's all of Middle Earth, and so it has so much potential. You can fight really the War of the Ring. It really lives up to its name. It is the War of the Ring. You're fighting. It's the Mordor against the Free Peoples. Saruman is the third faction, kind of a spoiler faction. So it's technically designed to be. It's a 2-player game. It can be 3 players. Theoretically, you could play multiple players and have maybe one person run like Mordor and the other one run the Easterlings. I'll pan down. I'll show you. There's even more of the board. I mean, it goes down all the way here. There's Umbar, Far Harad, Near Harad. There's all these different territories. And here's Mordor right here. And theoretically, I guess you could have like two um, evil players, one running Mordor, one running uh, Easterlings. You could have maybe someone running Saruman. Normally, if you're playing two players, Saruman will be run by the bad guys, but you could play three players and have Saruman be essentially its own faction and could win on its own. Although it even says in the rules that it's very difficult for the Saruman player to win, and they have to be okay with that. So that's kind of funny that it's just sort of admitting that, yeah, the game's not really balanced, but hey, it's for fun. So if the Saruman player is totally okay with being pretty much a spoiler and a long shot to win, then why not? So I do like that. I do like the games that are admitting that this isn't supposed to be a fair game because the Lord, the War of the Ring was not fair. Saruman and the bad guys, Sauron, sorry, and the bad guys really outnumbered the free peoples. It was a desperate struggle, so it's not going to be fair. And so that's you have to be okay with that. This really is more of a simulation of the War of the Ring, and based on the Lord of the Rings, mainly the books. So let me see if I can go in. I could show, you can see some. You can Dunland, Fangorn. You could see some of these territories. Rivendell is in there. You could see Rivendell up there, the Misty Mountains, and Arnor, the Shire. I guess if you had one complaint, would be is it doesn't use as much of the map, like to the north especially, and especially to the west. There's really no reason to go up there and fight. But I think it does open the possibility for some homebrew, some custom scenarios, which I have developed. Might do some gameplay on that, or might just do a normal gameplay. But as you can see, it really there's Helm's Deep right here, and Minas Morgul, and Minas Tirith. This is gonna be where most of your fighting is gonna take place. Your Barad-dûr over here, the Crack of Doom, Minas Morgul, Minas Tirith. This is where your fighting is going to be taking place. So it's not a lot separating Mordor from Gondor. So the free peoples are going to try to rally the troops, activate Rohan, activate Gondor, because the faction that starts off as being active are simply the blue faction. These guys, like the Western allies and the Fellowship. That's it. Gondor, Rohan are not activated yet. So you have to send Gandalf or Aragorn or Boromir or whoever needs to physically go and try to activate these factions to basically wake them up, get them ready for war, for their Mordor's coming. Now, if Mordor attacks, well then they activate that way. But the free peoples, they do need to try to activate. Now, there's actually two versions of this game. There's kind of a character only version where there's no armies, but it's basically the Nazgul and the bad guy and individual characters are trying to stop the Fellowship, and the Fellowship is trying to go to the Crack of Doom right here. But then there's the normal game where it's a war game and it has basically both versions with armies. I've played both are fun. The character game is a lot shorter, so if you don't have a lot of time and you just want to play something, something kind of fun that's Lord of the Rings, yeah, maybe starting off you could play that, and then play the normal war game later. I you could do that, but but definitely it's meant to be played as a war game, as well. That's really the heart of it. So I would check it out. Maybe not pay $100 for this, but I would. Maybe I wouldn't pay $100, but I would. If you see a good price and this just seems like something you're interested in, that's a little bit different. That has that old, hex base CTR combat resolution table style to it. from the 70s. If this appeals to you, then maybe think about picking this up. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to subscribe, I greatly appreciate that. If you want to see more content like this, I will post more videos coming up. So thanks again, and see you again soon.